like it almost never fails that 4th of July, Independence Day in Georgia.
Rain. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it makes sense to me. All the fireworks people put out the days before, all that heat going up into the air and all that stuff, doesn't that normally end up causing some sort of rain?
I guess it could have some impact on the weather, but I remember one year we all lined up to get our spot at Mall of Georgia, and it rained. And then they said, well, we'll do it tomorrow, and then it rained. And then they said, I think it was a Friday, and they said we'll do it Saturday, and they said we'll do it Sunday, it rained. And then they just never did it.
Yeah, they said we'll just see you next year instead.
They just never did it. It's getting increasingly more difficult to get a spot over there. Lawrenceville is pretty much impossible. And we did have a little secret honey hole over off satellite.
Yeah.
People started to figure that out.
Yeah.
So either way, long story short, we won't be here for fireworks.
Or lack of.
Georgia. And we need to check the weather on where we're going, see what it looks like up there. Side note, I found that restaurant that I want to go to. But then there's another restaurant that's even better than that.
Okay. So 2 restaurants, got it.
It's up choice.
Who says you have to choose? You can have 2 dinners.
And the other rental, they keep raising the price. I keep checking and refreshing and keep raising the price, so I don't know if we're going to get that.
Okay.
But I do want to talk about the safety concerns and the risks associated with 4th of July and just people making poor decisions, and quite possibly the inbound traffic and influx of new patients to the ER that is likely to happen, almost certain to happen. Much like it's a guarantee that I'll wake up every morning and read a headline of a mass shooting or some sort of problem that occurred. It's pretty much guaranteed that tomorrow, July 5th, I'll wake up and see a headline for somebody who injured themselves,
Did some dumb stuff,
or is, deceased. Which, actually, now that I think about it, I've actually gotten this notification early, as I came across a YouTuber who took a mortar round to the leg, about blew off his thigh, all for views on a live stream.
dumbass.
Don't be an idiot.
Yeah. People do really dumb things for clout, for views, for whatever, and it just does not make sense to me at all in the least. Why is your health, your life worth a couple extra dollars? It's not.
It was a really dumb story. It was really stupid. I think people have lost sight of how to responsibly utilize this platform, and there have been a few that have lost their lives trying to get views. Really dumb, really stupid story, and I hope no one mistakes the story as humor or something that they should attempt to do, because they may not be so fortunate. They may not be so fortunate. He said it was like getting hit with a bat in the park.
I wouldn't want either.
Sounds like a real smart guy.
Oh, it's raining now.
Ironically, after that, I got sucked into this hole of watching Whistling Diesel.
It's understandable. That's how I feel about Gus Johnson. You get sucked into this hole. You start watching one of his skits, and the next thing you know, the one with the shotgun dog names is still like one of my absolute favorite ones. And then the pool,
Winchester.
Remington. But
Black and Decker.
but then the other one where he's like near the pool and he's got his briefcase and he falls into the pool with the briefcase.
That long, arduous day.
Yes, that one's hilarious.
For Whistling Diesel, he had a video that says, I have a tank. Normal law comes from a project. Like, it was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I watched it to the end. His retention has to be through the roof. But nonetheless, there will be more travel. A lot of travel this summer. And for the 4th of July, there will be travel. We may be traveling indoors because it's rain. It's like, you already know it.
That's why I had to move my book so it doesn't get all messed up.
But with that travel, expect higher prices as the gas taxes just went up for certain states. And we need to see what states they are, because obviously this could impact us depending on which direction we go. Maybe this will influence the direction we go so that we don't go that direction.
I got your remote.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. That was a fast jump.
I literally went from like 0 to 100 real quick. We will finish this indoors on my now soaking wet MacBook.
Oh, yeah.
That escalated quickly.
Man. You can't even use it because you got to dry off the pad thing first. Whatever that thing's called. I told you it felt good out there. That's why I was sitting out there, came in and got a sweatshirt, went and sat out there because it was breezy and I was listening to thunder, and then literally the rain came out of nowhere.
Hopefully this thing's waterproof. About to find out.
As long as it's not salt water, I think you'll be fine.
Damn chemtrails. But anyway, we may have to adjust and alter our travel plans and directions based on these higher prices with these gas taxes going up.
Why?
Why not?
I mean, they're not making enough money off people, or like, I don't understand this. Gas taxes going up. These gas companies are still making profit over profit over profit. How much profit do they really need?
Travelers hitting the road for the 4th of July holiday weekend may have to shell out more at the pump than they planned for.
Holiday weekend being the key phrase here. July 7th, it's going to go back to normal.
You know, honestly, July 1 was a big day for multiple reasons. Mm-hmm. And more reasons than I had originally anticipated. First, it was the change for the constitutional carry for Florida. Mm-hmm. And it was the implementation of FedNow as they move towards CBDC. But there have been so many other little changes happening that no one was talking about. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much how these bills and proposals work. Mm-hmm. They slide all these other gotchas in there.
Well, because here's the thing. I talk about them on Squirrel Tribe. Here's a bill that was introduced, and it's blah, 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 comma, and for other purposes. And it's those 4 other purposes that you don't know what they are until they approve that first section, and then that second section comes in and just F's everybody over. That's how it works.
But as of July 1, 9 states have increased their taxes they collect on each gallon of fuel. And it gets worse.
They're all going to be highly traveled states on the coast, I bet.
They're also imposing new taxes on transportation and travel. Do you want to take a guess as to where they're imposing these new taxes?
I'm going to assume you're going to say tolls and things like that.
Good guess. However, they're imposing new taxes on electric vehicle charging stations.
Oh, the irony. By so-and-so, you must have an electric vehicle because we're getting away with gas-powered vehicles or fuel-powered, whatever you want to call it. But before we get there, we're also going to screw you a little bit with extra taxes. That way, by the time we've moved everything over, you're used to all the taxes we'll then be giving you.
Gas tax changes hit California, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Maryland, Missouri, Montana, Utah, Virginia. So there's really only one, maybe 2 states that we could possibly, or 3. Kentucky, Maryland, and Virginia.
We'll say Virginia and Maryland we should be going through. Kentucky, I'm not 100% positive.
I said maybe.
Yeah.
And even if we did, we wouldn't have to stop for fuel. And I'm wondering if we can make it through Virginia without stopping for fuel.
Possibly. I can't remember if we did before.
In California, it rises to almost 58 cents a gallon. And diesel's going up to almost 35 cents a gallon. And October 1 is going to go up again to 50 cents a gallon.
So what you're telling me, what you're telling me is that if gas right now is $3, it's about to be $3.50 because of the tax per gallon?
No, it's going up to So there's already a tax. They're just raising the tax higher.
Okay, so okay. But it doesn't tell you the original, so it could have been from 40 to 42.
But diesel is going to 30, nearly 35, and then October 1, nearly 50.
So that's a 15-cent increase, at least by October 1st.
And gas taxes and fuel fees increased July 1, and for diesel too in Colorado. But Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Maryland, Missouri, Montana, Utah, Virginia, they're all going up.
It still makes no sense to me why diesel costs more than regular fuel now. When I was 16, the whole reason I had a diesel-powered car was because it was so much cheaper than your regular fuel price. And I have to assume the only reason why it costs more now is because so many things that transport the goods that we need rely on diesel, and it's just a way to ensure that they keep making money.
Well, the best part about it is this new EV battery-powered car electric vehicle push, where drivers of electric vehicles will also see new tax surcharges. Utah has imposed a 12.5% tax on electric cars sold at public charging stations. Iowa and Montana now tax electric fuel from public stations. I guess if they tag on the term fuel, they can play with the wording here and tax people.
Well, you had to realize that they were going to end up doing this because these charging stations, they're not upping the grids for all this other stuff, so it's pulling even more power from places. So I don't know. It's all just a big money scheme. Why are there people still out there playing golf? I've never understood golfing in the rain.
That's pretty stupid.
Yeah.
Wait till the lightning shows up.
I was about to say, you're holding metal clubs in your hands.
That says that Montana EV drivers may be able to dodge the new tax for up to 2 years. However, for now, taxes won't be collected at legacy charging stations, those in existence before July 1, 2023, because the law gives them until July 2025 to install the necessary meters. I wonder how much that's going to cost. Like, it's going to cost them money to add the meters to then charge you. Like, it's kind of negated.
That's how it works. Same thing with tolls, isn't it? I mean, they put these roads up to make it easier for people to get through, and then they charge you for the ease and convenience.
There used to be a time where Tesla offered free charging, but they did away with that. So you kind of got to understand the writing on the wall and the almost bait and switch clickbait nature of the government and some of these corporations.
You got to think the Tesla one, the free charging is kind of like T-Mobile, AT&T, Comcast. Anybody that was lightning. Y'all still gonna keep playing? It's kind of like the whole first year at this price, so that it like swayed you to move over there because you're like, oh, it's so much cheaper over here. But yeah, that's the first year. Then at the end of the first year, we're gonna double up on you and you're screwed. So is it really worth it?
It gets better. Connecticut Department of Transportation, CTDOT, is testing the possible use of a mileage-based user fee instead of a gas tax. And the study is going to research its drivers in Connecticut and whether or not they should be charged a tax based on how many miles they drive.
That's real personal there, because then you're having to. I mean, it's like a business when you drive a business car and they want you to know your mileage or whatever so they can reimburse you for the fuel that you spend. That's not what they're going to do. That's so they know how much to tax you, which then makes it so people are like, well, guess what? I'm either working from home or I'm having all my stuff delivered or whatever else, because you're not about to charge me for driving to the mall or to work or to the grocery store.
Honestly, this is ESG.
We got to hit Connecticut before all this jumps in.
ESG, this is social credit. This is carbon footprint tracking, but also you got to think, what would be the easiest way for them to collect? What would be the easiest way for them to collect based on your usage?
You can't say chip because that won't work, because that could be a walking kind of thing. But for them to electric vehicles, I mean, is the easiest way because they can monitor literally everything in your vehicle, shut it down, start it up, see minute-to-minute information that you can't get on fuel-powered vehicles.
And having direct access to your bank account through a central bank and a digital currency. Now, this isn't something that's going to be implemented tomorrow, but odds are we will see it relatively soon, or at least those in Connecticut, which then we may see headlines of why is everybody leaving and moving away from Connecticut?
Well, that's what, you know what I just realized? We need to watch a bunch of old movies where they teach you if you get shipwrecked how to survive on an island, and then we need to figure out how to buy an island.
Now, they claim that although the future is unclear, some drivers' cost to sit behind the wheel will stay the same. But if it stays the same, what would be the point? What would be the purpose of doing this unless Connecticut's thinking they're not going to have a ton of EV, or I'm sorry, they're going to have a lot more EV drivers than dinosaur juice. So that they need to find a way to get their revenue if they're not getting it at the pump.
I have a question. Isn't Connecticut like really freaking tiny?
It's
not like Rhode
it's
Island,
not big. So I guess, per capita, per square mile, they need to make up a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, because you got to think, they're going to be just as greedy as the next state, a much larger state like California, but they don't have the people, the population to get that kind of money. So they got to get it.
But if you're losing out on money at the fuel pump, aren't you still going to make up money at the electric pump? So what's the problem here? What the problem is?
They're trying to get all they can. And maybe there's more to it besides just the money. Maybe they want to have that data. They want to track you. So how much, you got to think, how much will, if these go into effect, right? How much will be the charge for, let's just say, the elites and their carbon taxes for their jets and their convoys of SUVs? What do you think?
Nothing. We're making up for them.
How about a better question? When last have you seen Biden in an electric vehicle convoy?
That's the problem here. The ones who are in power, in charge, will not be subjected to the same rules as us small little peons in this country, and they will have the ability to do things that we can't. Their vehicles won't be able to be tampered with or hacked into and shut down like ours will, so they will always have the fuel-powered vehicles, always.
Can you imagine how helpful it would be if we could collect taxes on the pollution that Washington puts out?
We could pay back our debt. I'm just saying.
I mean, it's a noble statement, and we could, but you already know that if they had that ability that they wouldn't.
No, of course not.
Rent, food, gas, insurance of all different kinds, daily living expenses, they're all so high, and yet these folks in their infinite wisdom are continuously trying to hurt every American living paycheck to paycheck.
That's the problem there. They're trying to hurt every American living paycheck to paycheck. They're not trying to hurt the ones who are at the top 1% who have the money.